What's up, guys? We are wrapping up the most recent Aliens wave from NECA Toys today, taking a look at the final Kenner tribute figure in this wave. We have got Sergeant APONE here. This one is a figure that I've been looking forward to for quite a bit, just because I like this character. I like his Kenner look, and I had this figure as a kid, so this does some of that nostalgia stuff to me again. This guy comes on the standard NECA Aliens blister card package. You can see him there in the window. We've got all the vintage Kenner callbacks with the NECA logo, with the artwork, with the backer card, and then of course we've got the artwork on the back that showcases a cross-sell of Aliens and Predator in that Kenner style with the card cutout that is another callback to the original package. So let's do it. Let's pull this guy out and take a look. And here he is out of the package, our APONE figure. This is my favorite of the Marines from Aliens. Everything about Al Matthews' performance in that movie just sold this character, and he is a longtime favorite of mine. Again, I had this figure as a kid. I don't have him anymore, and I've not gotten it since, but I do have fond memories of this particular Kenner figure, so I was very interested to get NECA's version. And after watching this review, if you want to snag one for yourself, head on over to Big Bad Toy Store. I'll put a link down below as usual. But let's get right into it. Let's take a look at articulation, see what this guy can do. So we'll start at the head, and it's got a ball peg up there. So up, down, pretty good down, side to side, rotation. Arms go out, they rotate. You've got a single hinging, rotating elbow, and then he's got a ball peg at the wrist. You, of course, have got a whole bunch of business going on over here. So the arm does go out. It's not as easy to get it to go out just because there is the whole piston thing going on here. You've still got the single rotating elbow, and then you've still got the wrist here as well. And this will actually move with it to kind of keep things from tearing themselves apart. You've got a diaphragm swivel, so side to side, back, forward, and you know he's kind of bobbling as well. Legs go out, forward, backward. You can rotate in there. You've got a double jointed knee, which is kind of odd. So it's actually lower than you might expect. So it'll hinge here and then it hinges down towards the shin. But you can swivel at the knee and you can swivel at the shin. Then you've got those telltale NECA ball pegs at the ankle. So you've got rocker, hinge, and rotation down there. So he moves about as well as I would have expected to see. The only thing that's kind of odd is the placement of these joints, but they do work pretty well as far as those knees go. They're just not necessarily what I expected to see fresh out of the package. Now, he moves well enough, but the real draw for this figure is obviously just the look, the aesthetic, and the fact that he very much does not look like how he looks in the movie. And I don't think we're ever going to get a movie-accurate figure, just because I don't think that NECA was able to get the likeness rights down for this particular character before Al Matthews passed away. So if this is all we're ever going to get, I'm pretty happy with it, honestly, because I really like this look. It's goofy, it's very 90s, but it also works. I mean, it really shows that he is kind of the badass character that we know him to be in the movie. But of course, this isn't how he looks in the movie. So we do have a whole bunch of stuff, as I mentioned, going on over here. He's got kind of a power arm Terminator thing going on almost. But there is just a whole bunch of kind of mechanical exoskeleton type of things going on. You've got this whole harness that sits on his right shoulder. You've got the pistons that move in and out and they twist. And then there's just a lot of stuff. So he's basically holding on to this thing to give himself an exoskeleton arm to beef him up a bit. And then, of course, it wraps around a bit on the back. And you've got this kind of vest that sits over top with the suspenders. And then you've got the very bright yellow shirt with the no bugs written on it, which I absolutely love. I think it's great. You've got the green pants, so of course the very odd color scheme, a very 90s thing, and then you've got these very much techno futuristic style boots down here with a lot of wash, a lot of sculpt, and there's just a lot of detail all over everything, every little notch on these wires and the zippers and the buttons and the clasps. It's very telltale NECA stuff. Everything is as detailed as possible. Everything's got paint on it. Everything is just kind of detailed to the nines, basically. There's always something to catch your eye, a different type of finish or a different type of texture, and I think they've done a fantastic job of translating this particular figure from a very basic 90s toy into a very, very detailed collector grade figure. Of course, we have to talk about this head sculpt because while they don't have the likeness rights to this particular character, to this actor, I think they've done a good job here with translating this figure to giving us as close as we're going to get. So I think everything here looks very, very nice. We've got really clean, crisp paint lines on the eyes, on the eyebrows, the mustache, of course. You've got this red hat that's backwards. So, of course, you've got a lot of weird colors going on, red, yellow, green. And then, of course, he has the big thing that sits on top of his head, so it's kind of like a camera, radio, microphone setup. A lot of intricate detail, a lot of small sculpted pieces with a lot of wash in there to bring out that sculpt. More in line with this, with all the junk that sits on his right side, basically. So it's a continuation from that exoskeleton through his arm up to his head, and it very much flows really well. I think they did an excellent job in crafting this head sculpt. Now, as far as accessories go, we do have a few things for the Sergeant here. And of course, NECA does what they do, and they've thrown in some very vintage callbacks with this particular figure. So we've got his shotgun here. This isn't anything too crazy or anything special to write home about. It's a gunmetal and silver shotgun. He can hold it in either hand. It really fits his left hand a little better. The grip on the right, at least for my figure, is really, really tight. And then it's got a strap that runs down it. We have got his handheld grenades here. This is kind of the thing that gives you the vintage vibe, because this is kind of his quintessential accessory from that original Kenner figure, but they were a little different. So this guy has got the grenades at the top, and then you've got the actual handle here so he can throw them. But the vintage ones were kind of like flails almost. They kind of whipped back and forth. So NECA has included another piece, so you can pop the tops off, and then you've got these bendy pieces that you can actually use them to make like flails. So like he's flipping them or whipping them around almost, which I think is really cool. You may not really know what to do with them unless you're familiar with this figure, but this is what they're for. So you just, this is what you have to start with, and this is what you have when you finish. You've got two. So you've got two of the bendy pieces and then two full grenades. Of course, being a vintage Kenner figure, NECA has done what they do, and they've given us the reproduction mini comic that came with the figure originally. So we've got the Hive War comic here that has just a bunch of stuff here with the Marines fighting various aliens and things like that. And then to even add on to that further, you have got the sticker sheet that he comes with that you are supposed to decorate the figure and weapon with all these various labels and stuff. So I'm not sure I'm ever going to use this, but I love the fact that NECA does this. I love that they go this extra mile when it comes to including things that make this a complete vintage or recreation, so to speak. So overall, this is a really solid figure. This might not be the most exciting figure in terms of this wave. It's hard to beat the Scorpion and Snake aliens in terms of cool factor, but this figure is awesome. If you're even remotely a fan of aliens or the vintage Kenner line or just this character in general, this is an awesome figure to have. It's got a lot of cool vintage Kenner callbacks. The whole package is, again, just a complete vintage recreation, and I love the fact that NECA does that. It really hits all the nostalgia buttons for me. And even though I don't have any other Marine figures in this line, I'm really happy to have this one, and frankly that's probably going to change because I really want a couple others. I'd really like to get a hold of Vasquez in particular. So that's going to do it for this look at the NECA Toys Alien Sergeant APONE figure. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.